From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, good morning, everyone. As anticipated, and this is something I talked about yesterday, that even though things are clearing out, we're not seeing any rain, we're not seeing any snow out there, but this is as of early this morning here, as I'm recording this, there are still plenty of chain requirements out there. You can see on Highway 36 in South Trinity County, even on I-5. So early this morning, they are still screening. If you don't have chains, you can't proceed northward on I-5, and plenty of chain requirements here. Now, the reason you're seeing snow here, that doesn't mean that it's actually snowing out there. What this map is showing is that there is most likely, due to the snow that we saw yesterday, there is most likely still snow in these areas on the ground, which means that there is the potential of it being on the road as well, depending on how good of a job Caltrans did, which, by the way, I'm sure they did a fantastic job. But what happens is we tend to still get a lot of that ice on the roads, and we need to be extra careful out there. So again, keep in mind, this is always a moving target. I can show you this one at a certain time, and within minutes, it's going to be a little different. But I just wanted to show you this to illustrate that, yes, there is still a lot of road hazards out there because of the icy conditions and as things cool down here tonight, or this morning, that is. So what we're seeing here is, yeah, just be extra careful. Make sure you've got the proper gear if you're going to be traveling in the mountains here this morning and even today. Now, the conditions will improve because we do expect a break from the weather today, but then that's going to change as we take you on into your Friday. All right, so here's what's going on. Your weather headlines, mainly sunny but cool today. So yes, it's clearing out, but those clear skies is a reason why it's so cold this morning, right? Especially off to the eastern mountains. Single digits, teens is what we're expecting here early this morning. Next storm arrives tomorrow afternoon and evening. Now it's going to progress from the northwest to the south and east, and of course, so the coast will see it first, then eventually the valley, then eventually the eastern mountains. But it's coming in by tomorrow, and I think the heaviest will be tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and into Saturday morning. And then after that, it kind of starts to move through the day on Saturday. And then dry and slightly warmer as we take you into Sunday and early next week. So once we get past this storm that's approaching, we're actually going to get a bit of a break. Drier conditions and even warmer. All right, take a look at your forecast for today. Look at that in the valley. Lots of sunshine, but it's definitely that cold start. Now, again, I think some of us could drop down into the mid-20s this morning. You take a look at Siskiyou County, teens and 20s, but not warming up a whole lot. So yes, we are drying things out. We're seeing more sunshine, but cold air is in place. So we're not going to warm up a whole lot. And there you can see in the eastern mountains, not warming up there much either. Take you to the north coast, and there you can see those temperatures probably hovering around that 50-degree mark this afternoon. Take you inland, and we actually may see some fog out there. So just be aware of that early this morning, especially a lot of those inland valleys, mountain valleys. I think we could be looking at the potential for some fog this morning. So just be aware that that could kind of hit pretty quickly. That's especially these microclimates. You see a little bit of fog, and then it kind of clears out, a little bit more fog. So yes, if you're driving in the mountains, anywhere in the mountains, just be aware that fog could certainly be an issue here. Even in Trinity County, there, of course, you can see partly cloudy skies there. Not warming up much either there, in the upper 30s to low 40s. So you can see this is the disturbance that passed through yesterday, and that's what brought us the rain. That's moved down to the south and east, rain, snow, right? Of course, the snow in the mountains. But look behind it. We've actually cleared things out. Now, you see this little milky color right here? That's not clouds. What the satellite does, or at least the infrared satellite image does, is it detects temperature within the clouds, detects temperature in general. So when it gets really cold at the surface, it actually thinks of it as a high cloud and gives us that milky color. So we, especially in the mountains, had that milky color here this morning, not so much in the valley. I mean, it's cold in the valley, just not cold enough that the satellite says, hey, it's a cloud. No. So that's what we're seeing here. Mainly clear skies, cold temperatures, and then we've got this right here. Now, you take a look at this storm system, You got the area of low pressure, and you're thinking, man, that low pressure system, it's moving up here. How are we going to get any of the storm? Well, what's happening is we're going to see a storm kind of break off from this main batch of clouds here, and that's what's going to be coming down. Now, I do anticipate that with this next storm, snow levels won't be quite as low as we've seen the last few days, but still low enough that it is going to create some problems on those mountain highways. All right, so let's walk you through the timing of all that here on Futurecast. Today, mainly dry. I think mostly sunny skies in the valley. I think in the mountains, eastern mountains, mostly sunny. But here you can see up to the north, we are seeing the potential for more clouds, but no rain, right? No snow. Now, for the coast, throughout the day, I do expect to see a few showers. Most of it will be in Del Norte County. So I think Del Norte County will see the rain off and on throughout the day today. And as you start heading southward, chances will get less and less. But everywhere else is going to be dry today. It's a break for most everyone, okay? Now we're going to take you into tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., still dry. We may see some lingering showers, snow flurries off towards Del Norte, western Siskiyou County. But all in all, we're still looking at dry conditions. So the timing of this has backed off since my report yesterday, is what I'm seeing here, okay? Now we're going to take you into about noon. We're just beginning to see some of the leading edge of that rain hit the coast. So as we go through the morning hours tomorrow, we're going to begin to see the chances for rain increase as we approach the noon hour. But really, for the most part, it's dry. We've got the clouds in place, but it should remain dry for the first half of the day for most of us. Now we go through the afternoon. Look at it. It just lights up. So once it moves in, we're going to notice it. So here you can see, of course, the heavier rainfall along the coast. We're seeing the snow. Now, I think initially snow levels will be fairly low. I think they could get as low as 2,000 feet. So Hayfork, Weaverville, not out of the question for you to see some snowflakes. Not a ton. This is not going to be a major event. It's not going to be anything on top of what we've seen the last few days, but you've got that potential, which means Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain, Berry Summit, right? Those areas on Highway 299 could run into some issues. Of course, we can't forget about Scott Mountain. Scott Mountain's going to get pummeled with snow. That's no doubt there. I-5, man, I tell you what, it's been a nightmare this week, right? I mean, and the thing is, they are really buckling down on safety, which is good. We don't want anyone getting hurt. But when they buckle down like that, basically what happens is when we start having chain recurrence in I-5, they start saying, hey, if you don't have chains, sorry, you can't go north or south, right? So just be aware of that. If you're one of those people that never had chains, but you frequently travel on I-5, you may want to start thinking about investing in some chains because they're buckling down, I'm noticing here. All right, off to the east, you can see here too. This is Friday at 5 p.m. So we're already beginning to see that snow begin to move in. Now, the heavier activity is beginning to move in Friday night. Here's 11 p.m. on Friday. Now, I'm noticing a lot more pinks in here. So we're seeing kind of that rain-snow mix still kind of lingering around. In the meantime, snow quite heavy, quite possibly in Modoc County, not to mention Siskiyou County. There's some heavier rainfall. Now, it looks like we're seeing kind of a heavier band of rain kind of pushing down to the south and east here, as you can see here, though. But as we progress into Saturday morning, talk about some heavier rainfall beginning to kick in here. Here's the thing. Now, I'm going to just kind of let you know that meteorologist Brian Wilson, he had to kind of get a little case of COVID, unfortunately, and can't come in. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to be filling in for the weekend. And with what's going on here Saturday morning, there's a very good chance I may be doing a special edition of Coffee with Kruger Saturday morning. Probably the same time, around 6:30, maybe 7 o'clock. I'll keep you updated on that. But look at Saturday morning. If you have to go anywhere Saturday morning, it's going to be a tough go. Because you head northward, I think we're going to see change there. Now, notice what's happening. We're seeing less blue here. This is Saturday morning at 5 a.m., by the way. We're seeing less blue, less snow. This is when we start to see those snow levels begin to increase or rise. Let's put it that way. So the chances for snow in Weaverville, Hayfork, man, they're actually going out the door at this point. And that means that eventually, as we go into Saturday around noon, you see how it's beginning to kind of taper off a bit. So we still could be looking at a bit of a mix for parts of Highway 299 West, but you see how we're still seeing a lot of that snow off to the east. Rain could get heavy at times for the valley. And of course, once we get into Saturday night and Sunday, this will all pretty much be gone. Now take a look at the forecast rain totals. This storm is going to pack a bigger punch than we've seen in a while. You can see possibly over 2 inches for parts of the coast. Look at this, over an inch possibly in the valley. But check this out. I mean, this just blows my mind. It seems like this has been the overall footprint for months, where we see a bunch of rain kind of in this area here that you're seeing in green and yellow, right? You're seeing all this rain here, and it's great. But man, oh man, we are just not seeing much off to the north and east. So, even though we're seeing snow, the snow off in these areas in the north and east just don't have a lot of water associated with it. See, the thing is, when it's really cold out there, typically there's not a lot of moisture content with that snow. So it's fluffy and it really piles up and you get a ton of snow, right? But there's a lot of air and gaps in there. So there's just not a lot of water content in there. And that's why we're just not seeing much in the overall forecast totals. However, look at the forecast snow totals. Okay, we're going to take it through time here. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing 2 to 4 and 8 and 4 to 8 inches possibly in El Tours. But it's not going to contain a ton of water. Okay, and there you can see out towards Chester, 4 to 8 inches, 4 to 8 inches possibly at Mount Shasta City. Now, that's just Mount Shasta City. So keep in mind, you're probably going to see over a foot of snow out at the ski park. This right here is going to be a great storm to really help continue to give them more of that snowpack out on the ski park. So that's good news. Of course, there you can see just light amounts possibly, especially as we go, as I mentioned, Friday evening, Friday night is when we can still see some of that snow possibly in Weaverville, Hayfork. But as you start getting into Saturday, those chances for snow in Weaverville, Hayfork start to diminish because the snow levels are starting to rise. These winter weather alerts have actually been changing throughout the morning. So this is going to be a bit of a moving target. But again, this is one of those things where the National Weather Service is just warning everyone that we've got snow in the forecast. It's going to create problems on those mountain roadways. All right, so let's take a look at the winds. I'm actually not seeing an overall big wind event or pattern here. As you can see here today, not an issue. I've been noticing a bit of a spike in those winds here along the Warner Mountains in the southeast of Susanville. But everywhere else, I mean, it's just not that bad. You'll notice as we go into Friday afternoon, again, overall, minus some of the eastern mountains, seeing some of the winds. Now, I will say this. It looks like we are seeing some winds in the Shasta Valley. So not only are we going to be looking at heavy snow, but blowing heavy snow. So blizzard-like conditions here, when the winds are blowing, it's coming down in snow, it's going to be dangerous. So yeah, Saturday morning, it potentially could be quite a mess for many of those mountain highways. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast long range. We start with Saturday. Of course, by Sunday, it's gone. So we're dry on Sunday. And you know what? It looks like we're going to get a bit of a break. We continue to see dry conditions here at least through Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Now, some of the long-range models are indicating that around Tuesday, Wednesday, we may start to see some more rain entering the picture. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon just yet as far as rain is concerned. It looks fairly dry at this point, but it's one of those situations where if you do have plans, around the middle of next week, you may want to check in and see what's going on. But as it stands right now, once we get through Saturday's storm system, we're not seeing much rain after that. But the precipitation outlook does have that light green in there, indicating that there is at least that chance for rain, and still seeing the warmer than average temperatures, which I'm going to show you this, and I've been showing you this the last several days. We've got this warmer air, this ridge of high pressure, which is expected to build. Especially as we start going into Sunday, Monday, it's going to build. So what it will do is a couple of things. If this pans out, which it's been fairly consistent with this pattern, if this pans out, warmer temperatures, number one. Now, we're not talking 70, 80 degrees. No, we're talking 50s, maybe some 60s in there, okay? But we're looking at warmer temperatures than we've been experiencing. And number two, it diverts the storms to our north. So you've got all these storms, right here, but they get all pushed up to the north. And we just don't really see much out of it. It's weak. It's a weak ridge of high pressure, but it's strong enough to have enough of an impact that we just don't get to see much rain. All right, let's switch gears. We're going to talk about the coast now because we do have a coastal flood advisory from 10 a.m. until noon today. High astronomical tides, typical air. You know, if you live in this area, you know when there's that coastal flood advisory or coastal flood alert that there are going to be a lot of those low-lying areas along the coast that we could see some problems here with some flooding, so just be aware of that. Wave heights for today shouldn't be too much of an issue. In fact, they're going to lower by the time we do get into your Friday, but look right up here. As we go into Friday night, Saturday, those wave heights are going to increase with that storm as it approaches. Here's a marine forecast. South winds at 5 knots, not very high winds, and the waves not very high either. Northwest, 12 feet at about 12 seconds. There's your high and low tide for today, and a smoke threat advisory, which is what we got here for today. All right, here is your neighborhood by neighborhood forecast. We take you out to Trinity County, and there you can see 2,500 foot snow levels Friday, 3,000 feet on Saturday, and they will actually start to climb. So that's the lowest they'll be on Saturday. I think as we go through the afternoon on Saturday, those snow levels will continue to climb. Temperatures today on the cool side, 30s and 40s for those daytime highs. Here's your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Now for the coast, we still have a chance for a few isolated showers today. Don't cancel out their plans, especially if you're in Humboldt County. I think in NorCal County, you'll see a better chance for showers off and on throughout the day today. So yeah, there will be times when you may need the windshield wipers, you may need the umbrella getting out of the car, but overall, shouldn't be a ton of rain. And then Friday is the bigger event, Friday night into Saturday in particular, with temperatures today, upper 40s to low 50s, although cooler inland in the low 40s. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, and I just look at these temperatures and I go, whew, that is cold. You know, the thing is, for me, even though I grew up in the Midwest, I know it sounds crazy. I grew up in the Midwest, so I grew up in the Midwest with temperatures below freezing, 20 below freezing, all that, right? But as I've come here to Northern California and spent a good portion of my life, my blood has warmed. So when I see temperatures like this, oh my goodness, yeah, it just, it's cold. It's cold out there. And you can see out towards Modoc County, 30 degrees for Canby, 30 degrees for Alturas, and 29 for Tulia. And I get it. I know some of you who are watching who are not from Northern California. I know I got someone who posted from, I think it was North Dakota. They posted an image from a local map in that area showing temperatures, wind chill temperatures, like below 50, minus 50. Wind chill temperatures. So yeah, I mean, 31 in Janesville, 33 for Susanville. That's cold for us, but it's a balmy summer day for the folks up in the Midwest and, Nebraska, for example. All right, here you can see on Friday, evening shower. So I think it's going to be mainly dry through the first part of the day on Friday, by the way, for the eastern mountains. But by Friday evening, Friday night, that's when it really starts to kick in, and not to mention going into Saturday. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Haas Farms. Temperatures in the low 50s for your daytime highs. Evening rain on Friday. Saturday, you've got the showers. And then we take into Sunday, it dries out. Take you up north, look for a high of 45 degrees for Whiskeytown, 50 in Anderson, and there you can see out in Bella Vista and Palisadro, temperatures mainly in the upper 40s for today. All right, here's your 7-day outlook for Redding, and you've got those evening showers coming in on Friday, but again, I think the main event for us in the Valley will be Friday night and Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, it starts to kind of taper off, but still showers and heavy rain at times, even Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday through Wednesday at this point, I'm going to keep it dry.